Now that Eric Idams has been indicted, Mick Adams here, I want to talk to you about after school sentence. Now, I would love for this to be one of those long ass pieces I said I always do, but sometimes I feel like the point could be made very quick. It's very funny that I decided to record this during an after school time period. I usually have like 2:30 to 2:40 on my stream. I usually declare it's after school hours, and now that school's back in session, I might need to stop saying that because it might look like I'm actually. Anyway, regardless of that, the same logic that Eric Adams uses here is a logic that I've heard before. And I want to go very, very deep in detail to my experience with this logic and why it kind of destroyed me as a person. I've done it in an episode before, but I did it more about my effect, and now I want to talk about the general effect. Okay, I do not want to play the video. Thanks. Thanks.
Was going down,
Appreciate
violence
that.
was going down. People have profitized poverty. They're making so much money off of black and brown people because it's a lucrative business to come up with all these different programs, all these different ways. And then when you go to them and say, let me see the results of the programs that we're paying you millions of dollars for. And then you look and see, well, who's in charge of these programs? They don't look like us.
Moment.
This has been rectified in the companies that I've worked for. So I'm not gonna name names as a point of contention here when it comes to discussing my personal experience. I will say, however, throughout the course of my entire teaching history, the one thing that was consistently attacked overall was after school programs. Now you might be like, well, what does that got to do with the programs he's talking about? I don't know what it is about the city and the way it directs its funding towards the poor neighborhoods. But when you hear the word program, I want you to think about you sitting in some community center or you're sitting in some weird ass place learning from somebody that you have no idea about. And just because the city is funding it doesn't mean I have time to go to it. So whoever has the time to go to it has to be really invested and interested in whatever this program is doing. If this program isn't putting money in your pocket, if there's no job placement, if there's no furtherance after I take the program, a certification and a lead into some type of job or area or whatever, then mad people are not going to do that because we're literally living in an economy where everybody's surviving off of whatever scraps they can get. I'm surviving off the scraps I can get. I'm not talking from a place of privilege because I'm here streaming with you. I just happen to like doing this and happen to have some time in between shifts to pull this off. So we're going to keep going in that direction. The thing that stresses me out the most is the concentration on the amount of, which he's going to bring up in a second, the amount of people in these programs. Before we start talking about them themselves, what do you think of when you hear the word program? Why are we doing all these recidivism programs and why are we doing all these rehabilitation programs and ain't nobody in there? Well, as we've learned just earlier from disability benefits alone, the system is very, very weird, Eric, and you are in control of many parts of that system. And it looks like what this system is designed to do is dissuade you from taking any time out for your personal interests. So, as he claimed, only I only saw 7 people in there. Who running these programs? They don't look like us. That's because black people will never be in a position where you, of all people, would give them money. Do you just not know enough people? Do you not know any talented black people who could run a film class? How much money do you think it takes to run a film class? And yes, now I'm talking from personal experience. Out of that money that you're giving me, is there any way I could pay people to take part in this class instead of having them say the city funded it and you could just be here for free? There was a program that I had worked for over the summer, I think last year, and I did online virtual teaching. And while I had a great time doing that, I had some great students in that class, they paid the students to be there. It wasn't a lot. You only made $30 a session. It was $15 an hour. But that was something. That was something that said to them outside of anything else, this is money that I could get while I'm learning a skill. Maybe I put that $30, $40, $50 into something that a SD card for a camera that I thought was unusable till my teacher told me it was. I made a tiny little film. Oh shit, that's the person who made everything everywhere all at once type beat. You know what I mean? when you start hearing people objectively talk about black and brown people being used as poverty selling points, I am always reminded that it is much easier to put up an army recruitment station in the hood than it is to have a spot where 15 and 16-year-olds could play video games together. Which leads me back to the after school argument. Now you can see how I've cleverly done exposition as well as lead you into the point. You underfund these programs so much that by the time anybody gets interested in it, you are doing exactly what I was living through as a kid. You are playing with Uno cards that are damaged by water, and so they are fluffy. After a while, when you get no trips, when you get no extra additives, and you're pretty much just being sent there by your parents for daycare, why would I invest actual energy in my formative years dealing with a program like this? Spin that and they go home and tell their parents. Now what? Now you got what? Now what do you have? You've got a bunch of parents pissed off because you are telling me that this program is state of the art, but when I walk in there, y'all got one laptop and a bunch of kids just writing on pieces of paper and doodling and talking on their phones. Okay, if that's a problem, why don't we modernize these programs so they're more applicable to the skills that we have today, or at least would give them a tangible product that they could like actually use to do something with their lives. In comes people like this. In comes people like this. And I face this every aspect and every place in my career where I would ask these questions because I remember being in the boys club at 8 years old and wondering why the counselors had to bring their systems and why we was all, yo, why are our pool tables looking the way they are? Why our foosball table? Why we ain't got no ping pong table? Why don't we got a ping pong room? No funding. You raise a generation on that. You raise two generations on that. Matter of fact, let's take teen pregnancy into account. In the course of 54 years, you will raise three generations through that. Why would they ever have any trust in a system that incarcerates them and then tells them we're offering you some white dude in a boring ass white classroom talking about, oh, this is how you get a welding job. First, you apply online. Every nigga that sells drugs would have never sold drugs if they had enough money to not have to sell drugs. Which puts me in another predicament because here I am giving you an out in this argument while also saying people are too poor that they don't have any choice. There's no money. How do I get money out of niggas' hands that have the money? I gotta give them something they want. I'm not Jeff Bezos. I'm not Elon Musk, thank God. I'm not you, Eric Adams. You know what poor people want? You know what all the people around me who make $1,500 a month want? They want to A for weed, bro. They want to smoke and forget their problems for a couple hours. I could do that. I could do that. I could take a little bit off of everybody's top and give them a service and explain in exchange. What's the problem with that? What does your what does your reintegration program do? Why are we spending millions of dollars? You mean in a city that almost caps itself out at $100 billion a year? You mean a city that will literally never go broke because there are 8 to 9 billion people on this planet, and we get about what, 1 million travelers a day? 2 million travelers a day. How many rides we get per day? I think it's something where around like 5 million, 7.9 million, somewhere between 5 and 10 million. Ooh, I don't know the stats. Does that make me wrong? You still underfunded mad of the programs that I've worked in. I've watched as your administration and de Blasio's took over all of the DYCD community efforts and said, you gotta have a certain amount of kids in here for us to keep funding you. The more kids you get, the more lunches you get, the better the food is, the better this is, the better that is, the better this is, the better this is, the better this is, the better that is. But as I've explained for the last 2.5 minutes, you've given us nothing to invest in. Matter of fact, let's take this even personal, because I'm just coming to this conclusion as we're talking, which is kind of cool. I like that. You specifically made it a dead weight option for most of the core curriculums that we would push in both day school and after school programs. You made it so the requirements were almost impossible to meet unless you had the most popular, awesome teachers around. Because some kids have a 2.5 hour journey to get home. They can't do after school. I love this school of death. That's a cool ass program. That basketball program that you want to get into, that football program you want to get into, that Nerf program you want to get into, that teacher who said they wanted to start a guitar class, that teacher who said they wanted to do cheerleading, that teacher who wanted to do soccer, that teacher who wanted to do film, that teacher who wanted to do photography, that teacher who wanted to do music making. All our kids live too far away. You made the requirement, so now they have to feel guilted into staying. They have to adjust their whole lives just so you can give me an extra $50 per child. Do you really think that we didn't see through your game a long time ago? It gets real personal for me because I remember specifically hearing from one of my counselors back in the day that ran his own center that this is the exact reason why we closed. They got to change funders. We're owned by different people now, doing different things. The lights are different in here. We're still not getting anything new. Computers are boring. There's only 3 of them, and only all of us could be on them at a certain amount of time per day. For the poor kids who don't got Game Boy Advances, well, good luck with them Uno cards. So you raise a generation on that, and then you get somebody like me that comes along. Okay, I was raised on that. I'll make sure no kid I ever come across ever got to deal with that ever again if I'm in control of an after school center. I'm a group leader, I'm an activity specialist, whatever. Oh, no funding again. Okay, well, this time around, wait, no, not this time around. I've just become the camp counselor that brings the cool stuff. Okay, but this time around, I'm the person now. So I know how to manage things in a way that makes it almost a little bit better. I can make things cooler if I. Why is it my responsibility? I'm here to do a job and get paid for it. Why I got to put in my own money? Why I got to put in my own time and effort? You got $1.5 million surveillance dogs. What I got, bro? What I got, bro? What I got? Nah, 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 nah. Tell me what I got. You can't. Nobody can. This is why I don't like soapbox operas. Explaining to you the 31% increase in teen-related shootings, fatalities, because these kids got nowhere to go. You don't really give a fuck about that. If you're watching this right now, you already know that. Everybody already knows that shit is fucked. Why do you need stats and statistics for this? You might be saying, why did I bring that up? I was talking about after schools and I was talking about jail recidivism programs and reintegration programs. How do we end up with crime statistics and all that? Because when it flows through my head, I recognize that they're just kids who need an outlet to vent their anger because their parents mistreat them. That's it. It's not a complicated situation. Nobody's comfortable. There are parents, black parents, still growing up. On top of that, boy, if you do something wrong, I'm gonna whip your ass. There are white parents right now saying, boy, if you do something wrong, I'm gonna take away your Xbox. Oh, it's fine, Mom. I still have the 360 and the Xbox, ass loser. Mom, where's my vape? Put those 2 kids in the same school. Oh, wait, I witnessed that with my own 2 eyes. The affluent middle class kids in that school that I used to work in, one of the schools I used to work in, paired together with people from the projects. The lingo switches, the changes, the homogenation, culture. Somehow all these kids knew. If this school's so great, why is our after school teachers still having to pay out of pocket to put on these performances? Why don't we have speakers for dance class? If this is supposed to be a drama class, when are we going to put on a performance? How come the program that comes in and uses our room 3 to 5 every Monday and Friday has cameras for every kid? yet a full school doesn't.
Moments
People
ago,
have been
you said
playing
you
us, brother.
instituted programs, and when I brought up the fact that you actually cut programs, now you're anti-program. Okay, 31 at
We had
least.
some good programs
At
we have to
least
pay for.
31 people have died at Rikers since you became mayor. That's why they're
Fatherless No
pushing for a
More. Fatherless No
receivership.
More program. Fatherless No More. This was the brother, the pastor. Fatherless No More is called the program. And I would encourage you to come and check it out. This brother here, instead of saying, pay me millions of dollars to do a program to turn around the lives of our young brothers in Rikers, he doesn't want money. He's committed to the cause. But you have these professional.
How does that man pay rent? Where does he stay at? He can't just say things like that as New York City mayor and get away with it, which is exactly why your ass is getting locked up as we speak.
Programs that were in place, and when I went to them and say, show me the results of what you've done in these programs, show me what we produce for our millions of dollars, as in many of these programs in the city that I'm saying we're no longer paying y'all to just play us year after year. So Fatherless No More is turning around the line.
One program is turning around the lives of, okay, how about we stop arresting people for minor weed related offenses? Imagine if the system didn't have to be. Imagine if 7 people in a recidivism class was only because there were only 7 people in jail. You're not helping yourself. Now, I didn't go this deep into it the first time we watched this on stream. And the video I made was pretty good. I liked it for what it was worth. But every time I examine these protocols that were given to live by, known as laws, I recognize that as he speaks, I hear more and more fascism slip through his black mouth. We are not at any more of a playing game when I say that Eric Adams is a proto fascist. He thinks he's one of the good ones. He's lived in Jersey. He thinks he's white. And he uses his black skin to hide his whiteness because he has been rejected from the larger black culture for being a successful black man. So he's bitter and harbors resentment and envy over the fact that there are people who are committed to the cause who won't do it for no chicken.
Of people not being paid millions of dollars for it. If we're really true to what we say we want to do, why do we have to pay you millions of dollars to do it?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Because niggas like me exist. If I had a program with the last program I worked at, I think our endowment was 1.2 or $3 million over a span of a year. You got to make that money spread. $1 million when you're providing food, safety, security, wages, and extra things for kids, that should dry up real quick in a bad economy. I play the oldest hit in the book. You gave us a smart board, but didn't warn me about the flashes at the beginning. So now I have a kid with epilepsy who can't do it. What the fuck is an IEP and how much are you funding for that? Are we doing the whole we should give every kid Chromebook thing because Chromebooks are easier to use? Or are you finally going to admit that the cheaper option would be a stronger gaming laptop that runs an i7 and that runs a decent graphics card and allow kids to learn how to program and build on their own? Why are we talking about AI replacing jobs and at the same time you talking about if we're true to the cause, why we got to pay you millions of dollars for it? Perfect question. I've already answered it once, but I will answer it again in a different way. Because I have trained in this so long that I refuse to sit there while you make billions of dollars and I sacrifice my life putting myself in harm's way with people who have no, no remorse for the system that put them in front of me in the first place. I think millions of dollars between me and my teams would be kind of cool. But if you say why don't I do it for free? Hey, you want to hear a cool story? My partner used to take care of her friend's child when she was about 4 to 5 months, all the way up until she turned 1 or 2, even, I think. It was a long relationship. You know how much she got paid for 40 hours of childcare that she had to hit every week in order to get paid? $502 for 160 hours of work. And you can't have another job while you're getting childcare benefits like that and getting paid for childcare through the city. 160 hours of work, $500. You do the math. Why are we paying them millions of dollars? Because you refuse to put that money back in the pockets of people in the neighborhood who are actually doing the thing that even your motherfuckers up there, JD Vance and your bitches was saying. Oh, grandma could take care of them. You know, you have a little sister, somebody pay me the correct amount, pay me a livable wage. Why don't we just pay people livable wages? And if that stresses corporations out too much, we do seasonal, rotational jobs all across the board, get more people trained. There's always a job around. There's always a company that's going to need you in 3 months. You'll never have to worry about anything for 3 months because you know you got job security, because you know they got. I'm confused. What the fuck are you talking about? You're the mayor? Now, I can make it real personal and say, I did run in the race that you ran in. I don't know, man. Seems like you're not the one with the good ideas.
You know, why don't you come on Rikers like I do and volunteer? Why don't you come and really be committed?
What would that do? What would that do? So funny because this is way before he was ready to go to fists for the indictment.
People are not committed to us, brother. They've been playing us. You know, this is a street hustle that have been going on.
Rikers.
For
Even
years.
though your spelling of Rikers would be cooler.
And people have eaten off of the dysfunctionality.
Yeah, she's worked
of watching
in Rikers
us stay
and with
in these
inmates.
permanent states.
My dad did 3 months there.
being.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. The meritocracy is real! Yeah!
A lot of people are upset too. They feel like the prison reform is bad for New York City. They're saying people do crimes, they get out immediately, and then they commit the crimes. We just seen an officer that passed away a couple of days ago. Rest in peace to him, and always healing energy to his family. But they say that individual was arrested for a gun and has a record the size of we don't know what. And they're saying that people are doing crimes and they're getting back out. Officers don't want to arrest people. A lot of officers don't even want to be officers anymore because the people that they're arresting get out so fast. So what do you say to that?
And brother, let me tell you something. I say this term all the time. Idealism collides with realism. Mm-hmm. This far leftist mindset.
Now, I could obviously just trash you for where you're about to go. I'm going to click this link from one of my chatters and continue the segment like that, because apparently it's directly related. Did we see this already? No, we did not. I didn't get to it yet.
Fellow New Yorkers.
Matter of fact, you know what? This is a beautiful way to wrap this segment into a nice little bow. You was talking all that shit. I love this because I just did a neon video just like this. You was talking all that shit earlier, right? You was talking all that shit earlier, right? You shoot my fucking grandma in the head? Let's see how you acting now.
It is now my belief, my fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies.
You know one thing Trump did that I will always appreciate him for? I swear to God, it's the one. There is just one thing that I will always appreciate Trump for. He made it almost no. He made the line, I did everything right and they indicted me. He made it so like apparent and transparent that anybody else who uses this line is clearly full of shit, and the first thing you decided to do was run with it. It was a perfect phone call. Hold on, let me get my real Trump out.
It was a perfect phone call. They did everything. I did everything right, and they indicted me. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
But they would not be surprised.
They're not after me, they're after you, and I'm in the way. If anything, the literal segment that we just did on disability benefits, the government is not run by the Illuminati. There is not a shadowy cabal of secret elites. Niggas is stupid. And you're feeling the ramifications of those stupid effects more and more because now we're a little bit more of a homogenous society because everybody can share their stories on TikTok. So anytime somebody open their mouth and say, show me the women who are bleeding out because they didn't get an abortion after having unprotected sex with a third man this night. Oh, now we got 7 stories, 8 stories, 9, 10, 20, 50. What the fuck do you mean it's trending on TikTok with 145,000 videos? Not all of them could be real. Wait, aren't there like 360 million people on this fucking in this country? Is it not possible that 145,000 women could have experienced one thing? One in what is it like one in one woman? Let's say it was divided perfectly equal. 360 million people is 180 million males and 180 million females if you want to go this far into it and you want to just exclude gender identity as a whole. You mean to tell me out of the 180 million women, I couldn't find 145,000 with a similar story? Wait, let me take it back even further. Let me take it back even let me take it back even further than that. Ain't you some of the niggas that was like, "Oh, birth control is toxic," and I didn't realize what it was doing to women? How many women you think take birth control? 10 times as many as the hypothetical number I named? 100 times as many? What about the people around the world? Is their birth control different? Do you even know any of the answers to these questions? You might say, how the fuck did we get from Eric Adams to birth control? It became unfashionable to just lie.
Based on lies. But they would not be surprising. I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target. And a target I became. For months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. Just this past
Did his phone go off? Oh my God, whoever's recording, I got a text message.
undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. Just this past week, they searched the home of our new police commissioner looking for documents from 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's over for you. It's over for you. Again, Batman himself. Batman himself. Catch me on any controversy. You know what I'm doing? I got a new one for y'all today. You know what I'm doing? I'm shutting the fuck up. Guess what? I'm shutting the fuck up. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't nobody say nothing about me because I'm shutting the fuck up. No details. No details. No strings attached. No reason to believe anything I'm saying because I'm not saying anything. I'm shutting the fuck up. I'm shutting the fuck up.
Just 1 week after he joined my administration.
God, imagine that text messages his lawyer. What the fuck are you doing? Are you fucking stupid? Shut the fuck up. Like, yo. Like, hey, I'm sending you a text. Hey Siri. Hey Siri, can you send a text message to Eric Adams telling him, what are you doing, you dumb nigga? Are you fucking stupid? Have you not learned anything from anything that has happened like ever? Do you not understand that Rudy Giuliani is getting caught up, bro? They going after De Blasio. Why are you press releasing any information? What's ping ponging around in that milk dud head of yours?
Enough. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit.
Like, you know, we done heard you say shit already, right? Right. Perfect way to end this shit. Look, my final thoughts on this. We all knew he was a piece of shit. I just wish that, like, all of the progressive momentum we had in 2019, 2020, 2021 didn't all just furiously die away because money played its biggest part in politics. Let's do a John Oliver ending. Well, where do we go from here? Well, the first thing is ranked choice voting. Second of all, fund all extracurricular programs to the point where they have too much money up the wazoo. Give people a living wage, give people good jobs, and expect them to be able to spread these talents on to the youth. Make it so it's profitable to do both. Make it so that way the community has a way to see the works of the kids and see the works of the groups and communities that are building. So that way you don't have to ask the question, what are we doing with these millions of dollars? The paradigm shift. Gang in the building. Brought you back another long segment since I say y'all fuck with the longer videos. See you later. Big money, salvia. Big money, salvia. Big money, salvia, salvia, salvia. Okay, so if you made it to this part of the video, you're a fucking sycophant. I don't know how you managed to sit through 31 minutes of me talking directly, but I really do appreciate you. I'm not even trying to be like funny. I'm not even like if you made it to this part of the video, you an OG. Go ahead, claim your OG badge. Here's the code for. Oh wow, if I give you the code, then you're gonna post the comment. Then other people are gonna post the comment, but they're not gonna know what the comment's about. Y'all know what number to post. I'm out of here.